He thought fulfilling his voyeurism fantasy would be thrilling, until it turned into a French-speaking, pillow-throwing, vape-sharing disaster. What started as a consensual, boundary-respecting experience ended with a couple's explosive breakup in her bedroom. This is the story of a fantasy that went way off script. My friend and I were smoking weed and talking about life when the topic of sexual fantasies came up. After my friend shared her fantasy, I shared mine. My fantasy was wanting to watch people have sex in front of me. In other words, voyeurism. It was a fantasy I never knew I had until an incident a couple of years ago that involved my intoxicated ex-roommate hooking up with an equally intoxicated girl while I was in the room. My room. It was unexpectedly arousing for me, and I always wanted to experience something similar again, but without the lack of consent and crossing of boundaries that happened that night. My friend said she actually knew a couple that were into exhibitionism and asked me if I would be interested in meeting them. I was caught off guard, so my first reaction was an awkward thanks but no thanks. However, enough time passed for me to eventually change my mind. I informed my friend that I was kind of keen to meet the exhibitionist couple. The meeting happened days later. The couple made me feel less awkward about being in such an unusual situation and convinced me to see where it goes. Plans were made, rules were set, boundaries were clear. Fast forward to literally a few nights ago. I was in my room, sitting on my beanbag, watching the exhibitionist couple kissing and touching each other on my bed. It was surreal to see something that had only been in my mind now happening in front of my eyes. That being said, the build-up towards that moment was much more exciting than the moment itself. In fact, since we're here, I might as well call the experience what it was, a fuck-up. Let me explain. I sensed tension between the girl and the guy when they were kissing. Every time the guy attempted to kiss the girl on her mouth, she would turn her face away. I thought that it was like part of their act or some shit, but the girl seemed to go out of her way to avoid eye contact with the guy. Whatever was going on got worse when the two of them got naked. Things were said that I didn't understand because they specifically chose to speak to each other in their native language, which was French. When I finally asked if everything was okay, the guy reactivated his English and was like, "Everything is, how do you say, A-okay, no?" I said something along the lines of, "Your girlfriend is not looking A-ok, bro," which prompted the girlfriend to interject and tell me that she was no longer his girlfriend. Cue both of them switching back to French before raising their voices at each other. I was forced to raise my hand and clear my throat more than once before I managed to get their attention. I asked the two of them to please explain to me what exactly was happening because I was beginning to feel like I was watching people fighting instead of fucking. The girl got up, got dressed, and got the fuck out, leaving me alone in the bedroom with her naked and erect boyfriend, who felt compelled to grab one of my pillows and fucking kamehameha it at the door after the girl stormed out. At that point, I wanted nothing more than to get everyone that was not me out of my apartment. I stopped caring about what was going on. It was not what I signed up for. I encouraged the guy to calm down and get dressed while I made sure his girlfriend was okay. I have found the girlfriend vaping on my balcony. I low-key wanted to tell her that she was using my vape, but on second thought, I knew I was never going to use that vape again, since I was fully aware that she licked dick earlier. The girl said she was dumb for thinking she could just focus on the sex without dragging her relationship drama into my bedroom. I said it was okay, which made her even more upset because she was like, "How the fuck was this okay?" I said I was just trying to make her feel better. She said the only thing that would make her feel better was to stop sleeping with gorgeous guys who enjoyed fucking with her emotions almost as much as they enjoyed fucking her the old-fashioned way. The pillow thrower eventually appeared on the balcony and informed his girlfriend that he arranged an Uber for them because it was obvious that the night was not going to play out as we planned. It took the Uber about 5 minutes to show up, but the uncomfortable atmosphere made it feel like 5 hours. I did my best to diffuse the tension in the meantime, so I thanked the couple for at least attempting to have sex in peace. I meant it as a joke to make light of an awkward situation, but the guy corrected me and said he was the one who attempted, but the same could not be said for his girlfriend. I shut my eyes and sighed because I knew what was coming next. Cue another round of aggressive French words being fired from both sides. I was so fucking over it that I didn't even notice that I was using my vape, the same vape that Dick Licker used without asking. Needless to say, I thoroughly washed my mouth as soon as they were gone and made the decision to keep my voyeurism fantasy a fantasy going forward. Sometimes fantasies are better left in your head. For him, what began as an exciting exploration of his desires quickly devolved into a chaotic mess of relationship drama and awkward tension. Now he's learned the hard way that not all fantasies are meant to be lived out. If you've ever had a fantasy that didn't go as planned, this story will hit close to home. Share your thoughts in the comments. What's the wildest fantasy you've ever pursued? And if you believe in keeping some things purely imaginary, hit subscribe. Because sometimes reality just can't compete with the power of imagination.